In the ongoing war between Israel, the United States, and Iran, the US has now entered full rage. Just look at this footage. The scene looks like something out of a nuclear attack in a movie, but in reality, this is from Iran. Israel and the United States carried out a massive strike on Iran's oil facilities. The attack was so devastating that the sky over the region was completely covered with thick smoke. The next day, when it rained, people reported that oil was literally falling with the rain. This war has gone so far below the belt that both sides are now targeting civilian infrastructure. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated that the United States attacked an Iranian desalination water plant, cutting off water supply for people in around 30 villages. In response, Iran launched an attack on Bahrain's desalination water plant. Since the war began on February 28th between Israel, the US, and Iran, things have not gone the way Washington expected. After Israel and the United States killed Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, the US believed Iran would not be able to retaliate strongly, but that assumption appears to be wrong. Iran is not willing to back down. Tehran understands that it cannot defeat the United States in a direct military confrontation. Therefore, Iran is adopting indirect strategies designed to create massive pressure and financial losses for the US. On one hand, Iran is launching missile attacks on Israel. On the other hand, it is using cheap drones and missiles to target American military bases located in Gulf countries. Donald Trump may have started this war, but how it will end remains unclear. Even American politicians are now saying that the war against Iran is illegal and that Trump launched it on the basis of false claims. When a reporter asked Trump whether he attacked Iran under pressure from Israel, Trump denied it. He said the attack was related to the ongoing negotiations over the nuclear deal. According to him, he felt that Iran might strike first, so he decided to launch a preemptive attack alongside Israel. The war is costing the United States enormous amounts of money. Every day, the US is spending more than $890 million on this conflict. Ironically, an Iranian drone costs only about $20,000, while the American Patriot missiles used to intercept those drones cost around $4 million each. So far, Iran has launched at least 1,326 drones, and roughly 1,000 of them have been intercepted successfully. You can do the math yourself. Iran's cheap drones are burning through massive amounts of American money. Meanwhile, reports suggest that Iran has also targeted an Amazon AWS data center located in the Gulf region. At first glance, this may seem strange. Why would Iran attack Amazon's data center? The reason is strategic. The United States reportedly used Claude AI to assist in planning the operation against Khamenei. Claude AI runs on Amazon's cloud infrastructure. So if you connect the dots, Iran cannot defeat the US directly in war, but it is targeting the systems and infrastructure that indirectly support American operations. In this video, we will discuss three major points in detail. First, what kind of missiles and drones Iran is using, and what strategy allows these cheap drones to cause such massive damage. Second, how Iran is creating pressure by attacking Gulf countries, and whether the United States is running out of interceptor missiles. Third, how Trump's decision to go to war with Iran has created panic not just in America, but across the entire world. Let's break down these points one by one. First of all, the joint attack by the United States and Israel on Iran is not happening for the first time. Even last year, in June 2025, the two countries launched strikes against Iran. In short, the reason behind these attacks is that Iran funds several proxy groups across the Middle East, and these groups frequently launch attacks against Israel and American military bases. The United States and Israel have always been determined to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Trump wanted Iran to sign an agreement guaranteeing that it would never develop nuclear weapons. However, negotiations failed. Last year's attack targeted Iran's nuclear facilities and issued warnings to Khamenei, but the February 28, 2026 strike was far more aggressive. Israel and the United States reportedly killed Khamenei. The US used at least 20 different types of weapons and struck nearly 1,000 targets across Iran. However, after Khamenei's death, events have not unfolded the way Donald Trump may have expected. Iran retaliated quickly. First, Iran moved to block the Strait of Hormuz. Then it began launching attacks on American installations across Gulf countries. Iran's cheap drones reportedly struck the US embassy in Saudi Arabia and even targeted a CIA station. Iran also attacked the headquarters of the US Naval Forces Central Command in Bahrain, the Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait, and the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, which serves as the Central Command headquarters for US Air Forces in the region. Similar attacks have occurred in Jordan as well. In response, the United States launched heavy strikes against Iran, targeting 17 Iranian naval ships and multiple missile facilities. One Iranian warship was reportedly sunk in the Indian Ocean using torpedoes. Meanwhile, American and Israeli fighter jets have continued bombing Iran's oil and weapons facilities. But the real challenge for the United States is Iran's drone strategy. Iran is primarily using Shahed 136 drones, which are one-way attack drones. They fly toward their target and explode on impact. These drones are built using carbon fiber and fly at very low altitudes, making them difficult to detect on radar. Another major advantage is their cost. Each drone costs roughly $20,000, and they can be launched from simple mobile launchers. Because they are cheap, Iran launches them in large swarms. Most Gulf countries hosting American bases are equipped with the Patriot missile defense system, where each interceptor missile costs about $4 million. Iran's strategy is simple: launch large numbers of cheap drones. If they are intercepted, the defending countries lose millions of dollars. If they slip through, they hit their targets. Either way, Iran creates damage and financial pressure. This strategy is causing major problems for Gulf countries. Cities like Dubai are known globally as some of the safest places in the world, where billionaires live and tourism drives the economy. But now drones are being launched into their airspace. These countries fear that if such attacks continue, their tourism industry could collapse. America may eventually leave the war, but Gulf economies would suffer long-term damage. Because of this, these countries are likely to pressure the United States to end the conflict. Iran didn't stop there. By targeting Amazon's data centers, Iran is attempting to create even broader global pressure. Many major companies worldwide rely on Amazon's cloud infrastructure. If those data centers are attacked, the damage will not only affect the US, but also companies across the world, pushing other governments to pressure Washington to end the war. On top of that, the war is extremely expensive. The United States is spending over $890 million every single day on the conflict. Money itself is not America's biggest problem. The real issue is interceptor missiles. Iran is launching drones in the hundreds, while Patriot interceptor missiles are limited and take significant time to manufacture. Some reports even suggest that the US is pulling interceptor missiles from Ukraine and other regions to use against Iran. At the same time, Iran has blocked the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting nearly 20% of the world's oil supply, creating even more global pressure. Despite all this, Trump's position remains clear. He says the war will not stop until Iran's missile and drone facilities are destroyed and its nuclear program is completely dismantled. But neither side is willing to back down. As always, it is innocent civilians who are suffering the most in this war. Hopefully, this conflict does not escalate into World War III, because if other countries start taking sides, the war between Israel, the United States, and Iran could quickly spiral into a global conflict. Now, if you want to understand why conquering Iran is extremely difficult, watch the next video.